tonight, but there you see it, our main event, the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship on the line. Marty Scurll challenging his friend, his mentor, Nick Aldis.
I'm not in the best of moods right now.
Look at this.
Oh!
Oh! Back David has done it!
I don't want to go any more longer not being the world champion. Nick Aldis, get your ass out here right now. Let's have ourselves an NWA World Championship match.
It's Big Brother saving you from yourself. Because if you're going to even have a sliver of a chance of taking this from me, you're going to have to be focused and ready and at your very, very best.
May the best man win.
Whoa!
Because, brother, you don't want to face me in the state of mind you're in right now. I'd really hate to see you choke like you did in Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
No, Nick! Get in this ring right now! Get in this ring! I'm telling you, right here, right now, put that belt on the line and fight me! Fight me!
The man who's done so much in his career, but he has not done one thing in particular, and that is to be the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Could tonight be his night?
An interesting trait about Marty Scurll's career. The first time he challenged for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, he won it. The first time he challenged for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, he won that. Marty Scurll is a finisher. He's a big match wrestler. When the title is on the line, it doesn't take Marty Scurll often more than one shot to win it.
But the question is, can he fight and win against a man that he's known for the majority of his life, that's been a friend? They've confided in each other. They've told each other their secrets in the past, and they've trained together. Can he take Aldis down when he knows the man so well, but Aldis knows him just as well as he knows Aldis?
Those questions will be answered here tonight. The villain, Marty Scurll.
I didn't ask him just to hear myself talk. I want him to be answered.
Opportunity to leave with the 10 pounds of gold, but he will have to wrangle it from this man.
There he is, the dealer with the ace up his sleeve. It's Nick Aldis, the World Heavyweight Champion with Camille. And you know he's got to have a plan. He's got to have a plan that involves Chameleon.
Well, Camille, of course, the insurance policy. Nick Aldis does his best to to fight for that championship, defend it on his own terms. Camille, of course, part and parcel of the package. He is the national treasure, though. He won the Aldis Crusade, defending that championship over 20 times. Joe, you've called many of those matches, taking on the very best in the world. Here tonight, stepping into the ring, though, with a man he can call his friend.
Nick Aldis traveling the world. Huge matchups, not only in America, but also in England and in China. He'll go anywhere to prove that he is the best, to prove that he deserves to be the man with the 10 pounds of gold around his waist.
With a lineage that officially dates back to Orville Brown, but some can trace even further, Jim. The names that have held this championship: Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Luthez, you name it. There's been some great champions in the past. Nick Aldis epitomizes champion and more.
Well, he carries himself like a champion, and he takes it very seriously, and that's what's made the NWA. Aldis has made the NWA has made Aldis in the last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event. It is scheduled for one fall with a 60-minute time limit, and it is for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first to my left, the challenger from Cambridge, England, weighing 195 pounds, the villain, Marty Scurll.
Oh, and Camille already playing games with Marty Scurll.
His opponent to my right is accompanied by Camille. From King's Lynn, England, weighing 242 pounds, he is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the National Treasure, Nick Aldis.
2 times over the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the 95th NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Look at that.
We must call attention in the ring, Tommy Young. He's refereed more NWA World Heavyweight Championship matches than any man alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, your in-ring official is Brian Hebner, and now, with the pre-match instructions, the legendary Tommy Young.
Gentlemen, I've already gone over the instructions with you in your respective dressing rooms. You know what the rules are. This is a title match, but it's a wrestling match. Please remember that. You are wrestling for this title. You're not fighting. So please have a great match. The people came to see you guys wrestle, not us referee. So make the best of it. Okay?
Tommy Young with the instructions. Tommy Young, as I said, refereed more NWA World Heavyweight Championship matches than any man walking the face of the planet Earth. He was the chosen referee for all the big main events. In my opinion, the best referee in the history of the game, Tommy Young. A native here of Charlotte now for the past 35 or 40 years. Was chosen here to not only give the instructions, but also referee Brian Hebner will be in the ring. Tommy Young will be policing the perimeter, as they say. We're going to try to keep this thing in the parameters of an athletic contest, despite the fact of the animosity that's boiled over between these two former friends, who still obviously, Aldis, have to have a measure of respect for each other.
And the pound solidifies the friendship as the banners loom large behind them, signifying the larger-than-life stakes in this match. Brian Hebner holds the 10 pounds of gold high.
That fist bump harkening back to the interactions that these two have had leading up to this monumental main event where Nick Aldis shoved Marty Scurll to the ground. Marty Scurll hasn't forgotten about that.
Of course, the NWA World Championship has been defended on a number of the Crockett Cup tournaments. I remember 1987 in particular. Ric Flair against challenger Barry Windham, one of the possibly 5 or 6 best professional wrestling matches I've ever seen.
And if you folks want to join the conversation, use hashtag 10 pounds of gold. This is our main event, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship on the line.
Aldis, as you can see, has the size advantage, both height and weight. But once again, these guys know each other so well. Scurll knows if there's any weakness in Aldis's game, and there's that insurance policy. Camille, we got to keep a good close eye on her. So do referee Brian Hebner, so does Tommy Young.
It's a nice collar and elbow tie-up. The reach advantage, the height advantage certainly going to come into play here, especially if Marty tries to out-wrestle Aldis. Aldis, an accomplished grappler, going for the wrist lock here. Marty rolling through.
Well, and once again, even on a collar and elbow lockup, the leverage advantage goes to the taller man.
Marty Scurll still able to get up to his feet. He's so accomplished in his own right. And look at that, being able to take the bigger man down.
The world of sports style, the British European style of mat wrestling, what the kids now call chain wrestling, but it's a series moving from one series of moves to the other seamlessly, reversals, counters. The world of sports style that was popularized in Great Britain and that these young men grew up on.
And as we know from the UFC, guys like Hoist Gracie have shown that it's not the size of the competitor, it's the technique that often wins out.
Well, and also Billy Robinson, possibly the best British wrestler of all time, actually invented the cartwheel guard pass now used in modern MMA.
But now Nick Aldis has the wrist lock. Marty Scurll trying to find a way to counter out of it as the champion standing tall.
And you know, it's always, when you're a professional athlete, you almost can't have friends because something will get in the way, whether it's a championship or a woman sometimes, or any number of things, and that's the problem that Scurll and Aldis have had here. Is Scurll obviously showing he's quicker and more agile than the taller, stronger Aldis.
But
and look at the
that.
right seamlessly into a headlock, and you can't scout these moves. They're so unorthodox.
Oh.
Nick Aldis pulling out the follicles.
Aldis went for some.
Wait a minute. Hey,
Wait.
No, wait, hold on. What? Camille. She didn't know.
She didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything.
I mean, I'm the first one to call her out on shenanigans. And
Scurll went down, and he's telling the referee, and the referee said, get her out of there. Camille already this early in the match. Scurll has played a mind game. Brian Hebner fell for it. And look at that, Scurll. Scurll was gloating. Scurll behind Aldis's back, behind the referee's back. He was gloating, and Tommy Young now escorting Hurricane Camille to the back.
The insurance policy has been canceled. You have to imagine that's got to rock Nick Aldis his plans in this matchup.
And I understand the premiums were even paid.
the strategy out the window here for Aldis.
Always Scurll. Aldis turned his back on Scurll.
Knife edge chops connect, and it's Marty Scurll with the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, bringing him back toward the ring. Marty Scurll wants to settle this in the ring. He wants to leave Concord the 96th NWA World's Heavyweight Champion.
And you talked about it, going back to 1948 when the NWA was formed in a little hotel room in Waterloo, Iowa, a consortium of promoters to recognize one champion. The lineage traced back to Frank Gotch in 1908 over George Hackenschmidt, but my God, now Nick Aldis is the only champion that counts because he's the one in front of us.
Nick Aldis able to turn things around, use his size and strength with a big German suplex.
Aldis has been so impressive. He won that championship back at 70th anniversary, defeating Cody the American Nightmare, one of Marty Scurll's good friends, and you got to think that it may have weighed on Aldis. There seems like he's been fighting with a chip on his shoulder, seeing his friends receive acclaim that he hasn't as the NWA World Champion, despite the amazing work he's done for the NWA brand, crossing over into Ring of Honor. And it's been Scurll who's been getting all the attention.
Oh, wait a minute. Aldis is, you know, ever since his insurance policy was kicked out of ringside and sent to the back to the locker room, it looks like it's lit a fire under Aldis because he's been ragdolling Marty Scurll since then.
Well, that might be just a change in the game plan here. He says, well, now that she's gone, I have to go, and get this match over with.
I think it just ticked him off. And he just needs to be careful he doesn't make a mistake. But look at this. Fall away. SOS off the ropes.
Dumping Marty Scurll overhead and toward the corner, not taking his time. You see the wheels turning. That's a sign of a cerebral champion planning out his next chess move here.
Into the cover could be enough to retain it. Look at that, Marty Scurll gets to that bottom rope.
And you know what? That's not the cheap way out. That's within the rules. He is using the rules of the sport that he's competing in to save himself from being defeated. And that's what every great professional athlete does. If you can get to the ropes, don't feel like it's pussing out. Do it.
And I agree, Jim. It's knowing where you are at all times. That's how you become an upper-level athlete in this sport.
It's Aldis and Scurll trading rights and out. Aldis slamming Scurll to the mat. That thin layer of athletic padding is the only thing separating the spine of Marty Scurll and the cold cement here at the Cabarrus Arena in Concord, North Carolina. Breaking the count does Aldis.
The NWA Championship has been defended over the last 70 years in Charlotte on numerous occasions. Jim Crockett Sr., one of the first members to join the NWA after its formation, and he presented champions from Thez to Buddy Rogers to Pat O'Connor, and on down the line to Nature Boy Ric Flair, who became Charlotte's own, their sports hero. But now Nick Aldis has taken this thing into the 21st century in a big way.
Through the table!
God!
Wait.
It looks like Nick Aldis may just want to win this one on a count out.
No regard. That's where the power lies. Driving the choke slamming Scurll through the table. And with all due respect to Buddy Rogers, if you take a look at the replay to Orville, Braun, and Luthez, they never had to deal with the wood that's on the outside of the ring quite like that. Wow, the elevation, and that gives you a great perspective of what we saw in the arena. Elevating almost to the top rope, 8 feet plus, maybe 10 feet plus down to the ground.
Gravity is a harsh mistress.
Crashing through the table, then onto the floor. Marty Scurll, he might just be out of this matchup completely at this point.
Well, and I have to think that referee Brian Hebner would have counted him out already had it not been for the fact that Aldis and jaw-jacking, camera wasn't on him, but he broke the count. And now Hebner back at 3. And Scurll rolled in, so Aldis can get the cover.
The cover could retain right there. Scurll showing signs of life still. But look at Nick Aldis, stays right on top of him, keeps him grounded, keeps him on the canvas.
Forcing Scurll to not only get out of the hold, but forcing Scurll to move around the body weight of Nick Aldis as he really cinches that in.
You know, look at Aldis. He's a calm, cool, collected athlete. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes because he doesn't let his temper get the better of him. He's thinking all the time. He's a professional. I think Scurll of the two may be the more hot-headed, maybe a little more unpredictable. If Aldis keeps up this control, well, Scurll fighting back from underneath.
Here comes the villain, but runs into the kitchen sink, the knee right into the midsection.
Sometimes, though, Jim, all you need is a little spark to light a powder keg, to light some dynamite, and that hot-headedness, if Scurll gets the opportunity, which looks doubtful right now as Aldis is in control, could propel him to the title.
You know, once again, we thought when Camille got kicked out, the insurance policy, who has been integral and instrumental in some of Aldis's victories, that Scurll may take over. But even with these fans behind him, Aldis has been on top of Marty Scurll like a cheap suit.
Marty back up to his feet, trying to find a way out. Can he power out of this with a much stronger Nick Aldis? He's digging down deep, though. Look at the intensity in the eyes of the villain.
Trying to use calculated movement to force Aldis's body to contort with him.
Whoa, and all the way through. Took the momentum and spun him all the way through. And then a rabbit punch to the base of the skull.
Standing over his friend, but at this point, almost his prey in this NWA World Heavyweight Championship match. We want to thank everybody for joining us here at the Crockett Cup. This is our main event. The 10 pounds of gold are on the line. Will it be Aldis? Will it be Scurll who leaves Concord the champion?
What a night it's been also for all the fans that have come here live, the folks that are joining us on the Honor Club, pay-per-view, Fight Television. However, Scurll answers those right hands with a slap in the face, and that pissed Aldis off. That's an insult. I'd rather a man punch me than slap me, and so would Aldis.
We talked about lighting a spark, tossing Camille, and then slapping Aldis. May have done that.
Oh, no! Oh, boy, all right.
The villain lives lives up to his name, spitting in the face of the champion and in the face of his friend. 15 years in the making. All that friendship's going out the window right now. Scurll, tornado DDT.
Plants the champion.
Do you know what Scurll was able to do? He was able to make Aldis, the cool, calm, collected veteran, lose his temper, made a mistake, and that's the first time that Scurll has been able to capitalize and take over. The man who never loses his temper lost his temper, and he got a loogie hocked in his face.
But it's like friends and family. I mean, you know friends and family better than anybody. You know your brother better than anybody, your sister. You know your best friend Nick Aldis better than anybody, and he pushed the right button there.
I understand, you know, brothers fight. They fight, friends fight. You used to fight with your sister, and she kicked your ass, Ian.
Sure did, Jess did, yep.
It was last week, right?
And these brothers right now are trading rights. Ducks the clothesline. Scurll connects. And now it's Scurll, a house of fire.
On the offensive in the corner, just laying into the champ. Nick Aldis is down. Stomping into the chest of the champion.
Brian Hebner trying to break up.
Do they have mud holes in Britain? Because they got one now in Nick Aldis' chest. So the fans are behind the villain. They're booing the national treasure. I'm so confused.
Welcome to my world, Jim. As the villain, one of the most popular stars. Oh, and not only Ring of Honor, but also apparently with the NWA fans, connects with a super kick.
And now Scurll suddenly has turned this thing around in a big way. Whereas before he was being ragdolled. Had no offense whatsoever. Now Aldis is on the verge of defeat and in a bad way.
Tope Suicida takes out the champ, and the villain is feeling it from this crowd here in Crockett country.
These guys have waited for a long time for this. And they're making the most out of it.
Months in the making, you're absolutely right, Jim. This match, the challenge was laid out in February, accepted in March, and now in April 27th, the date on the calendar. We are finally seeing the match we'd all dreamed of, this main event match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Boy, I tell you, it may stretch to April 28th the way these guys are going.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Where did that come
from? Oh, good Lord.
Must have happened after the suicide dive as he gets sent into the barricade.
You know what? I saw Scurll. He just punched Aldis right in the eye with his right hand a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago. That may have just busted that eyelid open. I think the blood is coming from his right eye.
You're absolutely right. Look at the splatter of blood across the knuckles, across the wrist tape, and across the body now, Marty Scurll.
Oh, this is taking a disturbing turn, folks, as now Nick Aldis is losing blood. He's pumping blood out of his right eye. It looks like, my God, that eyebrow is almost, it's laid open, and his eye is almost closing.
Yeah, it's certainly going to require some stitches and some medical attention.
Well, more importantly, how is it going to affect the World Heavyweight Champion as he now can't see out of one eye, is losing blood, and is fatigued, to say the least, to 619.
Connects on Aldis. And if you're Brian Hebner right now, you got a decision to make too. You got to get in there and make sure Aldis can continue.
Well, yeah, because there's a man's eyesight. More importantly than the World Championship, his eyesight might be at stake. Aldis spins out.
Oh, single leg takedown.
Great move there. Oh, are we going to see it? Coming through. Oh,
no.
Shoulders are down. Couldn't get enough. Oh, villain almost got it there.
52 fake out cut by Aldis. Single leg takedown from Marty Scurll. He may be looking for a figure four.
Shades and his boy. Center of the ring. Figure four leg lock.
The blood streaming down Nick Aldis' face. The pain coursing through his body as the ankle and the knee of that right leg are compromised by the figure four leg lock.
Shoulders down. Oh, just a 2 count. Brian Hebner, perfect position to make that call, and he's right in there. There's going to be no mistake about it.
Aldis trying to turn the pressure. If he can turn all the way over on his stomach, it will reverse the pressure on the figure four, but he can't. Scurll has him seated. Now he's going for the ropes. He's going to try to reach
shoulders
the ropes.
down. Could be enough. Oh.
And Aldis is at a continual crossroads.
And Aldis, he reaches the ropes. Hebner forcing the break. Good Lord, Nick Aldis' face is a mess, a crimson mask, as they say.
Scurll staying on the offensive, on the precipice of history, on the precipice of becoming the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Aldis not going down without a fight, barely able to see out of that right eye. Catches Scurll, has him on.
No.
Touchdown!
Will this be enough? Can the champion come back? Can he recover from that massive head injury? He's up to the top rope. We've seen this before. Flies through the elbow drop. Picture perfect. Hooks the leg. It's over. No!
And now Aldis has panic set in as Nick Aldis realizes he is severely wounded. This war of attrition, he's tiring. He has to make something happen quickly or Scurll is going to take this championship.
Yeah, he looked for the Kingsland Cloverleaf, his finishing hold. He could not get it. It's now Scurll back on the offensive. Knife edge chop. Scurll letting him in deep across the big chest of Nick Aldis. It's Scurll though, caught this time by Aldis.
Michinoku driver center of the ring, but look at Aldis. So much has been taken out of him. Took him so long to capitalize, but there it is. Hooks the leg and to the bottom rope.
It took him 4 seconds for the cover and still got 2. If he could have got it quicker, he may have taken Scurll out. And now, I don't know how Aldis can see, much less try to, with pinpoint accuracy, come off that top rope like the elbow that he just executed. And now, well, you can see he either can't see properly or just the fatigue and the blood loss at this point, because the human being only has 12 pints of blood in his body, and Nick Aldis has lost a couple already.
Front face lock here from the villain. Aldis in trouble. Scurll looking to deliver. He loves the superplex, but Aldis fighting out of danger.
Aldis the champ saw it coming from a mile away, able to fight out. Uh-oh, Scurll's in the drop zone. But look at that, Aldis, he can't capitalize.
He is weakening, ladies and gentlemen. When you lose that much blood, you start weakening. You start getting dizzy. Your balance is affected. Your equilibrium. Nick Aldis is still going to try to gut this out, but he took too long.
And now it's Scurll.
Up to the top rope. Uh-oh. Going for a ride. Wow. Evil intentions from villain enterprise leader. Will he be the NWA World's Champion? No! Not yet!
Brian Hebner signifying it was that close, but still no cigar for Marty Scurll, the villain, in the biggest match of his career and the biggest stage that he's been on, challenging for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And Nick Aldis is hurt. Nick Aldis is in bad shape. Nick Aldis is one big move away from losing that championship.
And if you're Marty Scurll, you gotta smell blood right now. You gotta go in for the kill. I don't care if it's your friend. Oh, Nick Aldis though. One last shot. Great power bomb.
Shoulders are down. Could be enough there. Oh, so close, but no.
He's going
done
for
this
the
before.
Kingsland.
He's transitioning into the Kingsland Cloverleaf. Oh, but look at that. The joint manipulation.
In the joint manipulation, he broke his fingers, and now he's doing the same thing. Those broken fingers that Scurll injured. Oh, good God.
The disgusting snap of the fingers.
Aldis's blood smeared across Marty Scurll, and we know that Aldis was already having trouble with those fingers, and they're taped, but now once again.
Yeah, and he's calling for it, Jim. He's calling for the chicken wing. His signature finishing hold. Oh, but he telegraphed it. The whole crowd in unison told Aldis it was coming.
Well, look at this.
Oh, get the crossroads. 1, 2.
Oh! Crossroads, Cody Rhodes' move. Cody Rhodes beat Aldis before, but it was not to be, but it sure shocked the hell out of the champion. The NWA champion on the ropes and rocking.
Oh, my God!
Aldis sidestepped. Scurll went straight into the referee. Brian Hebner is down.
Kick to the knee, takes down Aldis. Oh, low enziguri, basement style, rattles Aldis, the champion. Here we have a
Brian Hebner's not there. He
There's
can't
no
do the count, but look who's back. Look who's back.
Camille slipped away from Tommy Young. She's sneaking around. Is it? She's setting up for something.
Yeah,
Looks like she's going to attack him from behind her when he turns. No, that spear.
She's sizing up Scurll.
And no,
look at that.
Nick Aldis wants to do it on his own. Nick Aldis doesn't want Camille to help him beat his lifelong friend. He has some pride. He has some integrity. He's telling her to get the hell out of here. He wants to do it himself.
What an honorable move by the champion.
No mistaking what he said there, and you're absolutely right, Jim. The moral fiber is, oh! And he may have cost himself the title by sending Camille back!
There was no moral fiber in a kick to the balls.
Black flag! Black flag!
Will it be enough?
A new
Go
champion.
ahead and count.
Throw!
I thought he had it.
And so did Marty Scurll. And look at that face. Aldis had the pride and the integrity. He wanted to do this on his own. He wanted to see which man was truly the best, mano a mano. And he sent Camille away. And Scurll responded with a kick to the groin.
And there are fans on their feet. They are standing here in Concord. No one has
We're all on our feet.
This is an incredible NWA World's Heavyweight Championship bout. One worthy of being the main event of the return of the Crockett Cup. It's Scurll. It's Aldis. Irish whip reverse off the ropes. Sunset flip. Here comes Scurll. Instead, it's Aldis. That's how Cody beat Aldis.
That's how it is.
Oh!
The top spread wasn't enough. Marty Scurll, but now back on the offensive, but Marty Scurll is actually on the defensive. He's thrown everything at Aldis.
Ducks the clothesline. Scurll, the challenger.
Oh, this could be it. Can he lock it in? Can he lock in the chicken wing?
Legs are grapevine. The shoulder's just too big, but he's got it tight.
He's got it tight. He's got it tight. It's just a question of whether Aldis is going to tap, and look at the blood streaming down Aldis's face, and this is causing his blood to pump harder. He's losing his
there.
And now he's got it locked around the chin. No.
Only with one finger, but still there's enough pain on the face running through the body of the champion.
If he could get a better, if he'd had a better grip, he could have done it. No.
Shoulders are down. Oh, so close there. What a move by the champ. Averting disaster. And then the power back on display, but Scurll able to land on his feet.
It's amazing a man losing blood like this has that presence of mind.
Oh, here we go. Scurll looking for the Scurll driver. Has him packaged up. Has him stacked.
Aldis is so big, he can't reach around him.
Rolls through. Aldis.
Oh, no, he caught him.
Can he turn his man? No, wait, the fingers again. Scurll going for the fingers. The fingers are already broken, damaged. That's going to...
Oh, no.
What's...
Champ
He's
stepped through.
high angle. But wait, he can't get the grip. He cannot intertwine his fingers. Can Nick Aldis because of the injury?
But
So
is
he's-
it going to matter
He's
after
got the
this
thigh.
matchup, though?
He's got the thigh locked, but he can't crank it. He's got to interlock those fingers.
With
It's too
everything
loose.
he's got. His grip on Scurll's leg and the championship in the balance.
And Scurll tapped him. He got him.
Here is your winner by submission, and still NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Nick Aldis.
Beaten, bloodied, but it doesn't matter. He remains our NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. What an incredible main event, Ian.
Incredible. I didn't think it would get any better than the Crockett Cup, than the national title match, the women's title match. But this is why this match is the main event. Marty Scurll, heck of an effort, but it's Aldis coming through in the clutch.
Aldis was able to get that even though he couldn't interlock the fingers because the damage Scurll had done. He was able to sit back and put his superior weight into that Kingsland cross, and that spelled the end for Marty Scurll. He realized he had to tap, but look at what these guys have gone through. Scurll sprayed in Aldis's blood. Both these men have beaten the hell out of each other. Aldis still, you can see the referee trying with a towel wipe the blood away, but still pouring blood from his head. Nick Aldis still the NWA World Champion, but not without possibly one of the toughest physical fights he's ever been in.
A history-making night here in Concord, North Carolina. New NWA Tag Team Champions, Villain Enterprises. New NWA Women's World Champion, Allison Kay. But the name at the top of the heap remains the same. Nick Aldis retains the NWA World Championship against his best friend, the Villain Marty Scurll.
Is there any reconciliation at this point? Can these two guys ever be on the same page again? Is the friendship irreparably damaged?
You gotta wonder what's next for Marty Scurll. Who's next for Nick Aldis?
They're passing words with each other. They are, my God, two human beings could not put each other through any more torture.
Aldis puts the 10 pounds of gold to the side, embraces his friend. There's your answer, Jim. After all that, after everything they've endured, after everything they put each other through, still friends.
But you know what? That's the mutual respect of two professional athletes. They know how good the other one is. They have to admit it.
We see the champion Nick Aldis, hand raised by Brian Hebner. Fans, we want to thank you for joining us on Pay-Per-View Fight TV, for Honor Club here tonight, for Jim Cornette, for Joe Galley. I'm Ian Riccaboni. Join us Wednesday, May 8th, when Ring of Honor New Japan War of the Worlds Tour comes to you live from Buffalo, New York. ROHWrestling.com for all the details. Again, thank you so much for joining us for Return of the Crockett Cup. Congratulations to Nick Aldis. Happy wrestling, everybody. We'll see you on May 8th. Whoop, whoop.
Nick, don't leave just yet. Come on. "15 years ago, I started my journey to fulfill my lifelong dream of becoming a professional wrestler. The very first person that I met in this business, the person that lent his hand to me, just a 15-year-old kid, you were the man that took me under your wing. You were the man that showed me guidance. You were my influence. And to be quite honest with you, Nick, you helped me become the man that I am today. I think tonight, with what went down in this ring, blood everywhere, and let's be honest, a pretty fucking awesome match, right? I think the fans' response tonight shows just how far we've both come. And I'll be honest with you, I thought this month would have gone a little bit better for me. I thought I could have been stood here, double champion. But unfortunately tonight, but fortunate for you, the better man won. Congratulations, Nick. You are the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And if you ask me, no other man in this business deserves it more. Congratulations.
If anything was proven here tonight, it's that this man is the biggest star in the business today that is self-made. And by the response from each and every one of you here in the building, watching on pay-per-view, it's proof that this little project that a lot of people laughed at when we first started it, called the National Wrestling Alliance Rebirth, is coming to fruition. These 3 letters carry more and more weight because there's nowhere else in this business you'll find greater passion, greater intensity, greater courage, greater commitment, greater sheer guts. This is the NWA. And we ain't going anywhere. Thank you all for your support, and we hope to see you again.